Welcome to the orientation meeting for parents of new early college students. We're thrilled to see so many of you with us this evening. We have put everyone except the presenters on a mute because we know there's a lot going on in all your households right now. This session is being recorded and will appear on the Montgomery College Early College website by Monday. So if you have to leave the meeting for any reason, or if you know of somebody else who would like to see it, you can check out the website and you'll be able to watch the presentation. So we're going to get started. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs at Montgomery College, Dr. Sanjay Rai. Dr. Rai?
Well, thank you, Amy. Good evening, everyone. I'm delighted to be here with all of you. Students, parents, faculty from Montgomery College, and the staff who so brilliantly run this program. Before I say a few words about Montgomery College and the early college, I want to welcome our colleagues from MCPS. They are an integral part of this program, and this is a program that is created in collaboration with Montgomery County Public School. I'd like to welcome Mrs. Nikki Hazel. You will hear from her in a few minutes. She is Associate Superintendent of Montgomery County Public Schools. I understand Dr. Genevieve Floyd, she's also with us in the evening, very important and integral part of creating this program. So Montgomery College, what we offer to all students, especially early college students or faculty. We have one of the best faculty in the entire higher education system. Our faculty have credentials. You will see if you're taking a chemistry class, you may end up with a faculty who has doctorate from Princeton University or graduate work from Caltech University, University of Maryland, all well-known places. Our classes are small. We have only 18, 20, 22 students in our classes, not 200 or 250 students in our classes. Our faculty are smart, hardworking, innovative, and they teach. That is their primary responsibility. They're not responsible for publications or getting grants and other things. So their focus is the students. Our facilities, as you know, early college classes this fall will be all held on our campuses. It's not going to be online classes. These classes will be held in person on campus. Our facilities is also one of the best in the country, certainly in the state. If you're taking a chemistry class, a biology class, you'll be working in a lab that is state of the art. It resembles several private industries in the area and across the country. So one of the best facilities. Then you will also be supported by excellent advising and counseling. You will have excellent tutors available. If you need help with your English paper, writing center are available to help you. And though that help is available in person, and they are also available online. If you're doing your homework on Saturday and you need help with your calculus homework or chemistry homework or English 102 homework, you have online help also available. In addition, college has what we call embedded coaching program. Apart from your faculty who's teaching your class, another faculty is embedded in that same class who will help you throughout the class, throughout the course, in several of your courses, if not all of your courses. So make sure you take advantage of your tutors, your embedded coaches, and other support that college offers you. So what happens to students who graduate from early college program? So this year, we have about 125 students who graduated with high school and college degree at the same time. They're going to some very prestigious four-year colleges, from Princeton to Berkeley to Carnegie Mellon to University of Maryland UMBC, Virginia Tech, you name it. So early college graduates are highly sought after by several four-year colleges, not only in the state of Maryland, but across the country. Many of you are coming as a biology major at the Germantown campus or the Kuma Park campus. You have an opportunity to transfer to University of Maryland, College Park, or other places. But you also have an opportunity to transfer to University of Maryland, Baltimore County's Translational Life Sciences Technology program. What is it? It's a biotechnology four-year degree that serves the local biotechnology industry. There are a lot of jobs because of COVID-19, a lot of vaccine, a lot of biologics, a lot of pharmaceutical research is done in this area. And as a result, there are a lot of jobs. If you're a biology major, you want to become, you're a pre-med, you want to become a doctor, you want to go to the medicine field, you have that pathway available as well from here. If you're coming as a cybersecurity major, we have a great articulation program with an institute called SANS. That's the gold standard in teaching cybersecurity. You can transfer into cybersecurity program at SANS Institute, but also to several other places in the country. If you're coming as a computer science major, our courses transfer to University of Maryland Computer Science Department. That is often considered one of the top computer science programs in the country. It depends on which rating you look at. Google rates it often higher than others, but certainly in the top 10 in the country. So wonderful programs are available for you. Make sure that today you will get information about how best to succeed as a student in our early college program. You will hear from staff, you will hear from some of our faculty, and certainly you will hear from our colleagues at MCPS. So thank you very much, and I look forward to the rest of the evening. Amy, thank you.
I joke and say if we all had $1 for every time somebody said to you, you're on mute, we'd be rich, wouldn't we? So thank you very much, Dr. Rye. Now it's my pleasure to introduce to you Mrs. Nikki Haley, who is the Associate Superintendent for Schools at Montgomery County Public Schools. Ms. Hazel.
Thank you very much. Good evening to all of you. I'm Nikki Hazel, Associate Superintendent of Curriculum and Instructional Programs in Montgomery County, and I bring you greetings on behalf of our Interim Superintendent, Dr. Monica McKnight, and our senior leadership team. This is a really exciting beginning for you all, and I want to congratulate all of our students who are here, and of course our parents. I see many of you here as well. Congratulations, this is a wonderful accomplishment to be here in such a prestigious program. My understanding is this is one of the largest classes that we've had, so it's very impressive. I want to just say to all of our students that while you are enrolled in the full-time MC program, you still remain enrolled in your last school of attendance, and you are still attached to your school counselor, so that if you have any questions, you can always reach out to your school counselor, engage with them around any questions that you have, any concerns that you have. Not only do you have access to your counselors, but also extracurricular activities are also available to you through your school as well. So please feel encouraged to feel connected in that way. I do want to take a moment to thank Dr. Rye and the MC family for all of the collaboration and support. And we just look forward to another wonderful school year with our students. I also want to acknowledge Dr. Floyd, who I believe is here in the crowd somewhere. So I want to acknowledge her and all of the work she does with our students and our families. And again, congratulations. It's going to be a wonderful time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hazel. I have to mention something. This wasn't planning on saying this, but you mentioned extracurricular activities. So our students can participate in both high school and college activities. In fact, one of our early college students who is in the radiologic technology program is on the Northwest High School volleyball team. And I believe they either went to regionals or states. They lost, but so our students do participate in both college and high school activities. So we're going to get started now. So my part of the presentation, I do have a PowerPoint, so we're going to go ahead and share the screen with you. Just wanted to give you kind of a refresher. These are some of the things you heard last October, but just kind of to remind you of certain basics about the program. So this is a collaboration, a partnership between Montgomery County Public Schools and Montgomery College, where we're providing an opportunity for students from all the 25 high schools to come and complete their high school graduation requirements on the MC campus and begin their college career. So the students will be taking college classes as full-time students for what would be their 11th and 12th grade year on the college campus. And those college classes are going to fulfill both their Maryland State High School diploma requirements, while also simultaneously providing the students the opportunity to complete their associate's degree. And in a few minutes, I'm going to show you how we do that. The students do not take any classes at the high school. We get asked this question a lot by parents. The students are taking all their classes on the college campus. And yes, we are returning to campus for the fall semester, and I'm going to be talking about that. So they're full-time college students taking all of their coursework for their 11th and 12th grade year on the Montgomery College campus. We cohort the students, we put them together. At the beginning of the program, for most classes, they're going to be taking their classes together. There are a lot of benefits for that. We're able to provide them with really good class schedules so they don't start too early in the morning, they don't end too late in the afternoon. We're able to handpick the faculty. So it's provides a lot of benefits for us to do that. The students may on occasion take some classes with students outside the program, but the majority of their classes will be taken with students in their program, which really provides them an opportunity to build relationships, study groups, friendships. They do chat groups because, again, we have students coming from 25 different high schools, so they really need to, establish new relationships with their classmates. So the students in these programs are going to earn anywhere from an AA degree, an AS, an AAS, and an AAT. Our degrees transfer to the four-year institutions within the University of Maryland system, as well as to many public and private institutions, both in and out of state. But I want to reinforce with you that admission to any school, in particular in the University of Maryland system, is not guaranteed. Students have to apply for admissions to schools in the University of Maryland system and meet certain requirements to get in. So that is not guaranteed admission. Next slide, please. Somebody just asked a question. A cohort means taking their classes together as a group. So they take their classes together. So one of the things we're assuming for the students coming into this program is that the student has met or is near completion of their service learning hours. If they have not completed them, we'll be working with them during their 11th and 12th grade year, preferably their 11th grade year, to get them completed early. So students must successfully complete their 9th and 10th grade classes. So we are going to be reviewing grades to make sure the final grades that came in from 10th grade are what we were looking for. We are hoping that students have taken PE, their technology credit, as well as their health credit. And if they have not, then we have opportunities for students to complete that while they're in the program. Students must earn grades of C or higher in all their college classes in order to maintain eligibility to remain in this program. And the reasons for that, we have college classes that first of all, have prerequisites that you have to have a C to demonstrate that you've acquired the knowledge and the skill to move on to the next level. It also ultimately could affect some students' financial aid in the future if they don't make academic progress. So the C's or higher are required in all their college classes. Another important aspect is transferability. Grades or D are often not accepted by four-year institutions. So a lot of reasons why the C grades are what we must see. Next slide, please. So this is how we do it. I know the font's pretty small, but I'm going to direct your attention to 9th and 10th grade. This is kind of looking at the MCPS requirements for high school graduation. And these are the classes we're hoping that the student took in 9th and 10th grade. The ones that are highlighted in yellow, general PE, the health, and the MCPS tech credits sometimes are not taken because perhaps the student has taken another elective in its place. So those three classes are ones that we work with the students to complete once they come to college. So when you get into 11th grade, that's when you see the program. So if you look at the key on the bottom, the classes in blue fulfill both an MCPS diploma and an MC degree requirement. So I'll give you an example, English 101. That's a required class for students in the degree programs, but it also fulfills grade 11 English. If you look down at the music 117, that fulfills a requirement for the student for their arts distribution for their MC degree. And if the student doesn't have their fine arts credit, it'll meet the MCPS diploma requirement. So you can see there's a lot of red and blue combined in 11th grade. And by the time they get into 12th grade, it's mostly red. In this case, this is the business pathway. And each one of our programs, you may be familiar with, we have pathways. For your reference, they're on the website for all the programs. So you'll see Biology 101. That's a requirement for the students to take a science with a lab, but it also will fulfill the MCPS general science requirement, not the biology, but the general science requirement. If somebody has already taken their fine arts class, yes, they still have to take it because they need it for the MC degree requirement. So I hope that gives you an idea of how we get this done. It's a tight 2 years, but again, the college classes are being used to fulfill high school requirements as well. Next slide, please. Just kind of remind you haven't seen this in a while, just to bring it back to, this is what the general cost would be if somebody paid for a 2-year degree. You're seeing how much MC and MCPS are covering as far as the tuition for the class and textbooks. And the remaining, the 2724, approximately 681 is what may be paid by a student. Those are for fees. If a student is free and reduced meals eligible, they do not pay the fees and there's zero cost. And you'll be hearing a little bit more about applying for free and reduced meal status later on. I just want to remind all the parents that early college students are not eligible for federal financial aid. And there really wouldn't be a reason to apply for it, only to pay for the fees. Now, there is an opportunity for students to apply for the Montgomery College High School grant, which would cover a portion of the fees as well. So for more information on the high school grant program, you can go to the dual enrollment, tuition fees and financial assistance page. Again, this is going to be posted on our website, this presentation, but if you even Google Montgomery College dual enrollment program, you'll find the high school grant application. So again, those are for people who are looking for another alternative way to pay for the fees. The bill payment for the fees is due no later than the Friday prior to the start of each term. So we've already registered many of your students and we're working on that now. And they'll all be registered by July 1. And we put holds on their accounts so their classes are not canceled. But their bill must be paid the Friday before classes start. So again, the bill would be the fees only. Textbooks, tuition are covered through the program. Next slide, please. Transportation for the campus. Students can use the Montgomery County Ride-on Bus system with their photo ID, and they get a sticker every semester to put on their ID. They also will have access to an inter-campus shuttle. Sometimes a student might live closer to one campus, but be taking a program at another campus. And we've had students who ride the inter-campus shuttle just to get to the other campus because it was more convenient. We'll be having your students, when they come onto campus, go and get their photo ID card, and we'll be giving them the sticker or mailing it to them. So they'll be able to use a ride-on bus service when the semester starts. The summer program, your students have heard about the summer program. We started promoting this and providing information back last October, and we gave you that July 12th start date so you knew about it. So first off, any student who's in the health science program is going to be taking Biology 150. That class runs from July 12th to August 19th, Monday through Thursday. And there'll be a couple of coaching sessions or tutoring sessions as well. The students in most other programs are going to be doing a math preparation program. And again, your students have received a lot of information on that. The program starts July 12th and it goes no later than August the 5th. So your students will either be assigned to the 9 to 10:15 section or the 10:45 to noon session. All of the summer programs are meeting remotely. So the Biology 150 class, the tutoring sessions will be remotely. The math prep will be led by a Montgomery College faculty member from the mathematics department. They will have formal meetings, those morning times, Monday through Thursday. And on Fridays, they'll be taking the weekly assessment test anytime during that day. We say no later than August the 5th because students must stay in the program and participate for at least 2 weeks. We're trying to bring students, prepare them to get them ready for the college math class they'll be taking. And students must assess into calculus, pre-calculus, applied calculus, whatever class their program has, their initial class. And again, if you are not familiar with what class, you can look at the pathway for that class. Some students will do that in 2 weeks, some 3, and some will take longer. So the minimum time everybody is in is 2 weeks, but not any longer than 4 weeks. And if you have any additional questions, you can send an email to the earlycollege@montgomerycollege.edu mailbox, and I'd be happy to answer your question. All of our students are going to take part in what we call a transition program. This is going to be held the week before the semester starts for 3 days. It's going to be in the morning. And we're going to do this remotely. And the purpose is it's an orientation. It's so the students can kind of revisit the degree program, look at the curriculum, the classes they're going to be taking. They're going to learn about opportunities that they're going to have for honors classes, internships, clubs, activities at the college. They're going to learn about graduation requirements. We will have somebody from the transfer and articulation office speak to the students too. So from the very beginning, they're hearing about transferring and graduation. They're going to be learning about study skills. Time management is a really big one for students because it's a different structure in the college atmosphere. We have a lot of resources, as Dr. Rye had mentioned, in services. We want to make sure students are well aware of this, making students aware of the campus itself, and reviewing the college's policies and procedures, and in particular, the student code of conduct. Next slide, please. So this is kind of give you an idea. In the fall, this coming fall, the class is just graduated right now in May, and they've just finished their high school graduation. So they got their MC associate's degree before they got their high school diplomas. It's a list of schools they're going to. I can tell you, University of Maryland, College Park, about 50% of our students are heading there. You know, that was the overwhelming #1 destination. And our students are in programs such as biological science, engineering, and computer science. And at College Park, those are called LEPs, limited enrollment programs. They're very demanding. They're more difficult to get into. So we are extremely pleased that so many of our students were accepted to those limited enrollment programs at College Park. You know, many are in the honors program at College Park as well. But you could tell, you know, we've got private, we've got public, out of state, all different kinds of schools here in the mix. So you can see where we're going. Two other areas I want to cover that are on the agenda: the return to campus policy. So as I said, we are going to be, and Gigi, I think that's it for the slides for now. Dr. Monica Brown, who's the Senior Vice President of Student Services, sent a memo out this week to all students, I believe, who are registered for spring and summer. And we're going to email that to all of your students to ensure that they got a copy of the college's policies and procedures for the return to campus. So the early college classes will be back on campus the first week of the semester. The college has made a lot of steps towards ensuring safety of the students and the employees at the college. The staff at the college will not be working 5 days a week on campus, but your students will have access to their early college coordinator 5 days a week. Some of it might be remotely. They probably will be on campus 3 days a week. So again, we'll send that memo out to you. The other thing I want to make you aware of, and I think we had it in one of our publications, is we have a parent guide. And a lot of the information you're going to hear today is in that parent guide. So this really was developed for parents to answer your questions about things. So again, it's on the Montgomery College Early College website. You can find the link to the parent guide. So I am now going to turn this over to Ms. Ida Britton, and she will introduce herself. Ms. Britton?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ida Britton. I am the Early College Program Coordinator on the Germantown campus, and the programs I support are computer science on the Germantown campus, because there is computer science on the Tacoma Park campus, cybersecurity, and for now, elementary education, which is actually housed on the Rockville campus, but for right now, I'm supporting that program as well. Gigi, do you have my slide? You can. All right, so I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about what we as early college program coordinators do. So first, I want to talk a little bit about advising. So your student will meet with their early college coordinator at least once a semester for one-on-one academic advising. And what we'll do is we'll have an initial meeting, and we will in August, and beginning in August, and we'll probably finish up with our students by early September to review their MC degree pathway, any other college credits that they may have earned either through middle college or dual enrollment, review any outstanding MCPS graduation requirements, and then determine if they have any relevant AP credits to report in order to create their 2-year early college academic plan. Similar to last year, these meetings will be conducted via Zoom. Our campuses won't really be open for students in August when we begin these meetings. So we're going to start these meetings by Zoom, and they'll usually last between about 15 to 20 minutes in duration so that we can make sure that we're getting all our students in prior to the semester beginning. Subsequent advising meetings will then take place at the beginning of each semester to review the courses for the upcoming semester to ensure that students stay on track with their designated degree pathway. Your early college program coordinators will monitor each student's academic plan during their time in the program as students complete courses to determine if the academic plan requires any modifications. And as you've heard, students that earn grades below a C in any course at midterm will then also be required to have an advising meeting with their early college coordinator and a parent. So please remember that. So any courses that your student earns that are below a C at midterm will be having an advising meeting as well. During that meeting, the early college program coordinator will discuss student success strategies to support your student to improve the student's approach to the course material. And those strategies could include like making sure that they're contacting their faculty during faculty office hours. They may be required to meet with their embedded coach if their course has an embedded coach. They may be required to go to tutoring sessions, and we may even support them. The early college program coordinator can support them with assistance with time management or study skills. And in addition to that, students can also schedule advising meetings with their early college program coordinator as needed as well. Next, I'd like to talk about course registration. So students in the early college program do not register themselves for any of their courses. MC requires that underage students be registered for their courses by an agent of the college. And since your student is classified as an underage student of the college, all registrations for courses will be processed by their early college program coordinator. And as Ms. Crowley just spoke, she said most of the students are actually registered in their fall 2021 courses right now. And as a reminder, courses for degree pathways have already been established for each program, and professors have already been specially selected for your students' early college experience. For some programs, students may have the opportunity to select a course, but by and large, the courses for each pathway have already been predetermined, and the early college coordinator processes all of those registrations for students. A student's ability to actually register themselves for courses will occur after completion of the early college program or graduation from high school. Okay, faculty interaction. So we also have a lot of contact with your students' faculty. So faculty and early college program coordinators work very closely together to ensure that your students' success in the program. So behind the scenes, your early college program coordinator contact faculty that teach the cohorted courses on quarterly basis each semester to obtain progress reports for early college students. These reports address the attendance, course engagement, like behavior, and academic progress. Students experiencing challenges in any of these areas will then be contacted by their early college program coordinator to discuss support strategies. Students advocate for themselves as it pertains to faculty and can ask for assistance from their early college program coordinator in addressing any more complex matters when interacting with their professors. And so parents do not contact professors or faculty on behalf of their student. And you'll hear more about that when we discuss FERPA. If you need information regarding your student's progress from a particular course regarding a particular professor, you may do so through your student's assigned early college program coordinator. All right. Next. So we also connect students to services. Those services could include disability support services, and we'll be going more thoroughly into that with your student during their summer transition program. And you'll also receive information about that via email because we want to make sure that students that are in need of support services, especially if they have an IEP or 504 plan with MCPS, we want you to contact the disability support services earlier as opposed to later to make sure that your student has all the accommodations that they need. We also will connect students with the Writing, Reading, and Language Center. They can help students with their papers. Students will have papers in their English course, they'll have papers in their history course. So we can connect students to those services, tutoring services, transportation, as Ms. Crowley just spoke about, student life. So we connect students to the campus events and clubs. There's the Student Health and Wellness Center that offers mental health services, nutrition services. We have something on at college called Mobile Markets, where there is scheduled times where the college has food pickup. They also have something called grab and go lunches during the semester as well. Early college seminar. All of the programs we facilitate a biweekly seminar for students. The biweekly seminar will address things like note-taking, test anxiety, and it's a time for your student to actually have that connection. We also do a lot of icebreakers. Your students will have time to connect with one another. And these happen bi-weekly with each program. College admissions process. So we also offer assistance in applying to college, and we coordinate presentations from admission representatives for four-year schools. You'll hear more about that as well from Ms. Matthews. The student's high school also offers this assistance, and the student should make sure that they're attending those meetings at their high school and remain in contact with their high school counselor as well to discuss this process. Okay, thank you.
Miss Jennifer Ray is the early college coordinator for the biological science, the computer science students, and the health science students at Tacoma Park Silver Spring campus. She had an emergency late today, and so she's unable to be with us. And so Ms. Britton has kindly agreed to cover her areas. Ms. Britton?
Sure. So Ms. Ray was going to talk about what do we expect from your student as it pertains to academic performance, communication, the academic calendar, attendance, and college conduct. And she was also going to talk about the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA. You'll be hearing that a lot. So I'm going to do my best to fill in for her. So for academic performance, let's talk about that first. I think all of you have the agenda. I don't have a slide for this. So we expect that all of the students will do well academically, but how they get there. So one of the things we expect the students to really put the work in when it comes to studying outside of the classroom. I know some of you may have heard that there's a general rule of thumb for how many hours you're expected to study outside of the classroom. So like for every 1 credit hour you're enrolled, you're expected to study at least 2 to 3 hours at home. So for instance, the computer science students, they have a 13 credit hour course load this semester. So if they're in front of their professor for 13 hours a week, in addition to that, when they go home, they should be studying 26 to 39 hours per week. So that's the formula. So if you recognize that your student is not home and they're like maybe studying 1 to 2 hours out of the week, they need to increase that to make sure that they're going to be able to perform well academically. Additionally, it's the expectation that the students will earn a C or better in each of their courses to continue their eligibility for the program. For several of the courses within some of the specific degree pathways, there is actually a prerequisite built in where they have to maintain that C or better in order to go to the next step. For instance, your students that are taking Calculus 1, which is Math 181, in order to take Math 182, Calculus 2, they need to earn that C or better in order to take that course. If they don't earn that C or better, it throws off the timing of their graduation. And as everyone knows, this is a specific 2-year program. So we really want to make sure that they finish this program within 2 years. And so that's why we require that C or better so that they meet all of those prerequisites. For students receiving any D's or F at midterms, or students who do not meet the academic expectations, this is at midterm. If they have a D, we're gonna, as I stated, we're gonna require them to have in mandatory embedded coaching hours if that particular class has an embedded coach. If it doesn't, we're gonna require them to have tutoring hours to attend tutoring sessions. And also we as early college program coordinators, as I'd stated before, we can help them with managing their time and helping them with different strategies for study skills. I'm going to move on to the academic calendar. So students are expected to adhere to and be aware of the MC academic calendar, and the calendar can be accessed on our MC website. Our academic year runs from August to May. I would suggest, I know that I've sent all of my students a link to the academic calendar. You can also go to our MC website and access the academic calendar to make sure that you're not scheduling, to make sure that your vacations or any other plans outside of your student attending this program don't conflict. Because at this point, the program becomes the priority. For fall 2021, the only holidays observed right now are Labor Day and Thanksgiving, and then we also get winter break. Okay, moving on to attendance. Oh, this is a big one. So, students are required to attend all of their classes, but we understand that sometimes there are health issues that come up or medical issues that come up. But one of the things that we ask that students do is that if they're ever going to miss a class, that they let their professor know beforehand so that plans can be made for any missed course material. If they're going, plans can be made, also religious holidays. Plans can be made to make up any exams. We need to know beforehand. And one of the things that students need to do is to read their syllabus for each course to understand exactly when they're expected to be in class and what they're expected to be, what they're going to expect to be doing, and see where the conflicts may occur. And then to talk to your professor in the beginning of the semester if any classes are missed. For a regular MC student, if a student should miss 3 or more classes, the professor actually has the right to drop that student from the course. So that has happened a couple of times for early college students, and we had to then go and re-enroll them. But if the professor doesn't know about absences beforehand and that student misses 3 or more classes, they may get dropped from that course. And if you're dropped from a course, you possibly can get released from the program, and we really don't want that to happen. Let's see. College conduct. So students in the early college program are expected to abide by the student code of conduct, just like any other Montgomery College student. So students are expected to demonstrate conduct that reflects the highest level of honesty and integrity. What does that mean? There's no plagiarism, there's no cheating, and our professors are looking for that. And we have had instances where students we've had to address students about honesty and integrity when it comes to either papers or exams. So please make sure that your student understands that. Students are expected to be civil and courteous and respectful, just as like they are at MCPS. With members of the college community, the other people in their cohort, their faculty. We have been doing classes via Zoom, and sometimes with our high school students, it might get a little silly, but they have to realize that they are in a college class right now, and they need to conduct themselves as they would in a college environment. So you just need to remind your student about that as well. Let's see. So right now I'm going to move on to the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. So, I'm going to abbreviate it and call it FERPA. And you should be familiar with it from MCPS, because basically you as the parent have control all of your students' information. You get to see their grades. You can change all of their directory information. You have the control all over that information. I'm going to read you the law, and then I'm going to now interpret it for the early college program. So the federal law, FERPA, is the federal law that affords parents the right to have access to their children's education records, the right to seek to have the records amended, and the right to have some control over the disclosure of personally identifiable information from the education records. But when a student turns 18 years old or enters a post-secondary institution like MC at any age, the rights under FERPA transfer from the parent to the student. So I just want to make sure that you understand that once your student comes here to the early college program, they take over the rights of their information. Meaning, if you as mom should call me and say, hey, I'd like to see my son's grades. I'd like for you to share with me my son's grades. I cannot do that unless your son or daughter, your child, includes you into having that right as well. And so what we're going to do during the summer transition program that last week of August is each of your students will get a form that will either consent to have access to their records or to not consent. So that is a discussion that you'll probably have to have with your student to make sure most of the time, to be honest with you, most of our students have definitely given their parents consent to have access to their records and to have discussions with me about their grades. So that shouldn't be a worry. It's just a matter of them signing the form and adding your name to it. I believe that concludes everything that I need to talk about. And I'm just going to pass this back over to Ms. Crowley, sorry.
Thank you, Mrs. Britton, for pitch hitting there. Now we're going to move on to Ms. Malaska.
Hi there. Welcome and thank you for joining us. My name is Karen Malaska, and I'm the Business and Biotechnology Program Coordinator at the Germantown campus. First, I want to say thank you for your support. I see over 200 parents here, and I also see students' name, and they have slid into my DMs as well. So hi to you. So early on, Dr. Rai gave you an overview of the academic supports offered at Montgomery College. I'm going to give you a little bit more information on those 3 types of supports your students will receive in the early college program. Students will also learn about these supports during their summer transition seminar as well. All right, so the first one is a general academic support. Professors, your students' professors will have set office hours weekly to meet with students. We encourage all their students to communicate with their professors regularly not when they come into any challenges with their classes. So please do meet with your professors regularly and just say hi. They're people too. Montgomery College also have one-on-one tutoring for math, science, and writing courses. We'll have those in person as well as virtually, and all the students have to do is to sign up for these tutoring sessions at no cost. They can go as many times as they want, and the schedule is really flexible. Also, one of our tutoring centers called the Writing Language Center on each of the campuses. They also provide a variety of workshops, such as study skills, note-taking, college writing essays, resume building, and much, much more. So we really encourage our students to take advantage of these workshops at the Writing Language Center. Aside from tutoring, seeing the professors regularly, we have an amazing campus library at each of our campuses. Students can access these libraries on the campus as well as virtually. And the libraries are accessible 24/7, and we have chats that's available for our students so they can talk to a librarian at any hours of the day. The second type of support that we offer our students is the disability support services. If your student has an IEP or a 504 plan in their home high school, we highly encourage them to request service with DSS counselor as soon as possible to discuss the type of accommodations or modifications they need. This process do take time. Students must identify themselves and apply for DSS service. Parents aren't going to do that. We as coordinators encourage them to do that, and they must apply every single semester. Okay. Last but not least, the support your students will get will also be the early college academic support. Dr. Wright also talked about embedded coaching. We have embedded coaches in math, English, and science courses. And again, these are courses with an additional instructors who provide these extra support to our early college students by holding weekly coaching sessions. And a lot of times they also attend classes as well. So the students know and have seen and have a relationship that they build with the academic coaches. So we encourage them to attend these coaching sessions regularly instead of when they come into issues with a class. Also, the best support you're going to get is from the early college program is the biweekly seminars with your coordinators, because this is where we're going to help you polish up those study skills, time management skills, learn about the college transfer process, and we're going to provide you support the entire 2 years you'll be at Montgomery College. Again, there are no extra costs to these resources. They're flexible, they're really easy to access, and we encourage our students to advocate for themselves and start utilizing these support early and often. Thank you so much for listening and supporting your students in the early college program. And I want to introduce you to Miss Lakisha Adamson.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. My name is Lakisha Adamson, and I'm one of the early college coordinators supporting the biological science program on the Germantown campus. I'm going to share my screen really quickly. I just want to, I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that. I wanted to show you, but I'm going to discuss the MCPS and MC student activities. I know it's been questions in the chat. All students can participate in their homeschool student activities and teams, but we must stress that it cannot interfere with your MC courses. So as far as practice or games, you must be in your scheduled courses, and then everything else can take place after that. And once again, transportation is on your own. So we want to make sure that's clear. But we want to welcome you to the MC family, so you can participate in events and also clubs at MC. And when you arrive here and also in your summer seminars, we will discuss student life, and we will show you the website where you can learn about student leadership, events, games, activities, movies, and also clubs. that you can participate in. And Student Life has an office on all 3 campuses. So if you're at the Rockville campus, there's an office there, Germantown, also Tacoma Park. So we want you to get involved with MC, but we also want you to keep that relationship that you have with your home high school. As far as I see a question about prom and homecoming, you can participate in those activities because they will be after your MC courses. In addition, I wanted to talk about your, Mrs. Crowley discussed the farms program and also the household application for free and reduced price meals. Students may qualify for the farms program based on your household size and income. So every year, federal guidelines change. So you must submit a new application every school year. So make sure that you go to the MCPS website and type in, you can type in farms or you can type in reduced meals, and it will come to the website where you can apply online with the application as far as with your household size and your income. And once you do that, a notice will be sent home to you with a determination. So as far as MC, we wait to receive all the information from MCPS about the determination, and we'll follow suit with dealing with your fees, as Ms. Crowley discussed earlier. So if you have a reduction of fees, we'll make sure we handle that on our side, and you'll be able to see it on My MC when you log into your account before you pay for your bills. My part was very short and sweet. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email your early college coordinator, and we look forward to servicing you. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Erin Matthews.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. My name is Erin Matthews, and I am the early college coordinator for the Rockville campus. I support the mathematics, business, and also the engineering students currently at the moment. So I do have a couple of slides. So if Gigi, if you can make that available for me, that'd be great. Okay, awesome, thank you. So I know there has been a lot of questions on the chat. I saw it kind of popping up about the application process, you know, applying to a four-year institution, will credits transfer over? So I know that a lot of students have burning questions about that. I'm sure parents, you guys do as well. So good luck, you're in luck that the early college coordinators will definitely be helping students out with that process. I know it can be something that can be very stressful. There's a lot of questions. Sometimes students, even parents, don't know exactly where to start. So we do have a process in place where we will be helping support your students through that process in determining what the next phase looks like after the early college program. Okay, so I know that Ida mentioned earlier, Mrs. Burton mentioned earlier, the seminars that we will be doing weekly with the students. And of course, you know, in the seminars, as she has stated, we do talk about note-taking styles and, you know, just information on how to, how they can become better college students and better prepared for college courses. But one thing that we do also cover in the seminar sessions is the college application process. So just some of the things that I have presented here on the slide. So college information presentations. So one of the things that we help coordinate is institutions in the area, whether it's University of Maryland, it can be Towson, UMBC, where we reach out to those institutions and we talk to admissions representatives to present presentations to our students. So in those presentations, they can talk about transferring credits. They can also talk about some of the requirements as far as SAT requirements, GPA requirements. So we do work with local institutions as far as having them present information to our students in helping them decide what institutions are a good fit for them. Also within the seminars, that a lot of these things on the screen, they take place the first year in the seminars. As we also talk about scholarships, I know that can be very concerning for some students or families as far as how are they going to pay for college. And so talking about different types of scholarships with the students as far as merit-based, so scholarships that go based off of academic performance, so if they have really high GPAs. We also talk about community-based scholarships, so if it's organizations in the community, it could be businesses as well. So we do cover those topics of scholarships, eligibility, and we give that information to the students so they can prepare for applying to those scholarships if they're second year in the program. We also talk about college essay writing. So some institutions, they may require a college entrance essay. That may be the case for some, maybe not for others, but we do have that presentation with them as well. We do discuss what type of helpful tips as far as writing that essay, grammar, what institutions are looking for, because of course, there are many, many students that are going to be writing college essays. And so we want our students to be able to stand out when they apply to these institutions. So we will be giving them helpful tips on how to really perfect their college essays. And then the first year, one of the things we also do talk about is the College Bound worksheet. Okay, so the College Bound worksheet is a worksheet that was created within the early college program, where we give students before their summer going into their second year. So it's a worksheet that we look for them to complete in the summer, okay, before their final year in the early college program. And on that worksheet, it's just a series of different questions, prompt questions that they need to answer about institutions they're interested in. Okay, so there's different categories as far as admissions. There's a certain set of questions as far as, you know, how do I apply to this institution? And what is the GPA requirement? Is the ACT or SAT required? And if it is, what is the required score? There's also academic questions on there as far as what is the student to faculty ratio? That's very important as well. Is there study abroad opportunities? So these set of questions, we look for students to answer these in their college search, okay? So they can get this information from the website of the institutions they're interested in. We also encourage them to reach out to those institutions because it's very important to make a contact at whether it's University of Maryland or Towson, or even if it's in out-of-state school, to make contact with these institutions, talk to admissions counselor, and get a lot of these questions answered. So getting this worksheet done the summer before they enter their last year in the early college program will help prepare them for their final semester, where we're going to go more in depth on selecting colleges, application process, and financial aid. And that's something that I'm going to discuss in the next slide. Gigi? Thank you. Okay, so the final year in the program, that's when we really, really get heavy on talking about the college information. This is very, very critical. And so the seminars are more centered around the four-year process of looking at four-year institutions and the steps that they need to take to prepare for that transition. So of course, narrowing down the college search. So if the students have completed, and crossing my fingers, hopefully they did complete the College Bound worksheet over the summer, because that's something that we do go over with them. So narrowing the college search. So from the search that they did with the College Bound worksheet that they have completed, kind of narrowing down what institutions they feel like is a perfect fit for them. So it could be, you know, some students may want an institution where there's a small student to faculty ratio. Some students want to go to an institution that has an institution that has a lot of student-based programs. Some students want an institution that has a lot of athletics. I mean, there's a number of different things, but it helps them narrow down what institution is perfect for them. So that's something that we do discuss with them as well, their second year when we start up in that semester in our seminars. We also discuss financial aid and scholarships. So financial aid, as I said before, I know it's something it's really hard to discuss when it talks about paying for college. But talking about different financial aid options that are available to students. So we discuss grants, we talk about loans. I know even sometimes it's hard to talk about that, but it is an option, and we have to discuss it with students. So we talk about loan options, grants, as I said, and then we also go more in depth into scholarships. And the early college coordinators, if students need help, whether they're searching for scholarships, helping apply for scholarships, we're also there to provide that support as well. Okay, and then FAFSA. So FAFSA is a free application for student federal aid. So FAFSA, that FAFSA application is very important for all students. I encourage all students to fill it out. So that will be a form that students will fill out where they put in their financial information within the household and some general individual personal information as well, where they will submit that document. It's online application that they submit, and based off of the household income and other financial information that will be provided from the student and the family, it will let the student know what financial aid options are available to them. Okay, and so we have a presentation where we discuss with students what is FAFSA, what is the process of the FAFSA application, and then we also help the students get their FAFSA PIN as well. And then the FAFSA, the applications open up October 1st every year. So we will be making sure that we get that information to the students, and also making sure the students get their FAFSA PIN so they can be ready to go October 1st to apply for the application online. Okay, and then also too, on the last slide, I wanted to point out the application. So the application process, we do assist students with as well. I know one thing that I do with my students is I tell students if they want to set up a one-on-one meeting with me, where if they want to go over application they're working on, if they want me to look at it, to go over it with them, that I do that as well. So I know students have a lot of questions about applications. They may get stuck on certain types of questions. So as coordinators, we do help support the student through that process as far as filling out those applications and answering any questions they may have if they get a little confused. And then on this last slide, I really want to talk about the support and the role of MCPS and the parent during the time of college application. So MCPS, and I know this was stated before, but students are still encouraged to attend any high school college information event. I know that we are still going to provide great support for the student when it comes to college information, questions about transferring, things of that nature. But at the high school, I know that they have events as well, whether it's a college night, whether it's a financial aid night, a scholarship night. We still encourage them to attend the events, if they can, because the more information, the better. I tell them there's not a limit on how much information that you can receive. So although they are getting information from us, they still should attend their events at their local high schools to get additional information. Also too, students are still expected to discuss college application process with their high school counselor. And I know, again, I know this was discussed earlier, but students, while they're in the early college program, is still very critical to maintain close communication with their high school counselor. Okay, I cannot stress that enough. The high school counselor is still involved in their academic progress. And so the students, even when it comes to applying to four-year institutions, should still keep the lines of communication open with their counselor. And their high school counselor also has information about different platforms such as Naviance, which I'm sure a lot of the students have been filling out and working on, the Common Application and the Coalition app as well. So it's just very important for students to maintain that close contact, even while they are in the early college program. And then the last topic I want to talk about is the parent role with assisting your child through the application process for your institution. Is number one thing is you want to educate yourself on the application process. I do have a hyperlink there, but for the sake of time, I will blast it out to the coordinators and they can see the information. But when educating yourself, even though the students will be getting a lot of the information, it is still good to understand the process as well, so you're able to support your child. And the reason for that is because although it's a team effort, that you are their number one support. Questions that they may have, of course, they can come to the coordinator, but also too, it helps when the parents know the college application process and they're still able to provide that support at home. So I just want to make that statement, emphasize that statement that although we are there to support, the students are also looking for the support from the parents at home to encourage them through the application process. Okay, thank you very much. Back to Mrs. Crowley.
Thank you, Ms. Matthews. The next speaker we're extremely pleased to have with us, Dr. Zine Boudreau, has been with us longer than any other faculty member. He teaches calculus classes, some of the advanced math classes to our students. So I think he's going to provide great insight as far as his experience, what he has had with the early college students in the previous 3 years. So with that, I'll introduce Dr. Boudreau.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Crowley. While I was busy with the numbers down, 231 participants, 91 plus chats, I wish it were really one of my classes that I'm teaching this summer remotely. Students tend to be shy when we teach remotely. So I don't get this many questions. I was also listening to the entire meeting, and amazing, you covered everything. You even talked about syllabus. You talked about students being dropped if they don't attend, which it's something we hate to do, and most of us don't do it unless it's an extreme case. Okay, so let's see. What left for me? All right, let me. Yes, as you said, I believe I've been with you since the first year of the program. And let me, my experience, I never taught high school students, and I was scared to death to teach high school students. But then when I met them, I loved them. I admired, first their youth. I don't hide that. They are young. They have desire to do something different, to be ahead of their peers. Yes, if you choose to join the early college program, then it's choice to be ahead of the curve, ahead of your peers. You're challenging yourself probably by taking college courses. All right, let me start by this idea. There is a question that I usually ask at the beginning of every semester. I ask this question to my students. Calculus, in general, I teach calculus. It's not about calculus. I don't ask them what calculus is about or how do you apply calculus to your major. It's very important to me, for me to ask this question. Why are you here? Why are you taking this class? Now, this question actually was asked in a research journal, and they published all the answers. I tend to compare my students' answers to those published in the survey, and they are not really that different. Do you know what answer number one? Answer number one on the top of the list, I need it for my major. Well, makes sense to me. This is not what I want to hear, by the way. I need it for my major, but it makes sense. The second answer on the top of the list, I love mathematics. Okay, but this is not what I want to hear. Now, here is the answer that I hate and I don't want to hear it. My parents asked me to take it. We don't want to hear this answer. Now, you might ask, why are you asking this question? Now, especially the early college students, these are young kids, 16, 17. And it's very hard for them to set up an objective. But when you ask a question like this, it just is like you are inviting them to think. Why are you here? What's the objective? What do you want to achieve? So it's an invitation to make them set up an objective. Once they have that clear objective, the rest is easy. We can help them achieve that objective. We have the resources to do that, and you mentioned most of them. The coordinators, I love all the coordinators. If I can't handle anything, the coordinators. The learning centers, the embedded coach, which Dr. Wright talked about them. It's a big plus. I believe that all the early college classes have an embedded coach. This is what at least the last 4 years I had them, or which is really a great asset. What else? There are so many resources that we can use them to help them succeed. They don't have to be 100% prepared, but they have to have that desire to make a difference, to change, not just because someone asked me to join the program. Now, with that said, in few weeks, I'm gonna meet some of the new early college students, not all of them. I believe we have so many math prep sections, but I'm gonna ask you this question. If there are students here, be prepared. Homework, I'm gonna ask you this question. Why are you here? Why today you are listening, probably you are on the fence. You are listening, you are gathering the informations. You are asking about the financial things, the books. And by the way, many people are asking the books, they are free. You pay for nothing. Just we want you to have an objective and to succeed. So I'm going to ask you this question. So I will ask this question. Now you decided to join the program. Tell me, why are you here? Why did you make this choice? And think about it. And hopefully July 12th, during the math prep course or summer prep course, because I guess some are doing something else, be prepared to answer this question. Since we are talking about the math prep course, this is a very important course. And I'm not going really to go over all the details, what we do there. Yeah, we do a lot of activities. From preparing you to take calculus class, to preparing you how to transit from high school to college, what is okay, what is not. One of the things which my colleagues probably, they talk about it all the time, that the early college students, the first semester, they talk too much in class. Well, that's normal. 16, 17 years old, they know each other. They want to talk. It doesn't bother me personally, but we work on that. It's a minor thing. And there are other things that we like in early college students. And you don't hear people talking about it. When you come to class, you find them before you. Boy, we love that. They are always on time. The expectation, they have the habit to do the homework, even if we need to remind them, or to tell them how many hours a week they should work. Other than that, we do a lot of activities in the math prep course. It is expected, and it is very important. I did notice this from last summer and the other summers. It's very important that students work on the software that we use. We call it Alex. They work on the models. Even if they get passing scores in the tests, continue working on those models. The more you cover, the better you will be prepared for calculus. You refresh. So don't get the 70% and say, okay, I'm done. just keep working. And we expect you, after the activities that we do in the morning, in the afternoon, we expect you to spend some time reviewing those models, the trig, the algebra, and so on. That will really help a lot. The syllabus. As you can see, there are so many people in the fall teaching calculus. Now, we have general guidelines that comes from the department or the college guidelines. But know that different faculty have different expectations, different activities. You have to read the syllabus carefully. If the syllabus says your score, your final score will be based on 3 tests and the final exams, that's it. If the syllabus of that particular faculty says no makeups, there are no makeup exams. So you should really take the syllabus seriously. And as I said, don't assume anything. Different faculty have different expectations, different requirements. They teach the course in a different way, and we like it that way. It's not one size fits all. So it's good even for students. So one of the things that I hear it all the time is like a request for extra credit for makeup exam, for retake. Yeah, this is the word that I'm looking for, a retake. I know my colleagues, most of us don't do this retake. It's a college. We give you more freedom, but when we say something, you have to do it. Some of us collect the homework, some of us don't. But when we say do it, you have to do it because we have our way to check whether you did it or not. Let me close by yeah, I just, what I have in my head is the summer prep and the syllabus. These are 2 important things. Other things will be discussed either during the summer prep course or in the fall as we go. But occasionally, my colleagues ask me, why are you doing this? Why don't you teach regular students and that's it? My question is very simple. First, as I mentioned before, I admire what these students are doing. 2, I have the resources to do my job the way I want. And I am confident if I need anything, all what I need is just ask and I will get it. We really, I believe that Montgomery College, I hope Dr. Ryder, I think is buys it. Is giving the early college students so many things, a lot of resources, putting a lot of effort so that they succeed. This is really what I want to say. I don't know who is next.
Thank you so much, Dr. Boudreau, for your presentation. I'm sure the parents and some of the students from have learned quite a bit. I'm really happy. Our last speaker, I actually think maybe the most engaging of our speakers, no offense to anybody else, it's probably somebody you really want to hear from, and that is an early college graduate. So we have with us today Miss Arose Ababy, and Arose received her MC Associate's degree in May and just graduated from BCC High School. So Rose and Ms. Britton are going to do a question and answer period. So I'll turn it over to the two of them.
Okay, thank you. Rose, don't forget to unmute yourself. Okay. All right, Rose, if you could please reintroduce yourself, stating the high school you came from, your early college degree program that you just earned, and where you're going for your four-year institution. And if you want to throw in your GPA, which is impressive, you can throw that in too.
Of course. Well, first of all, hello everyone. My name is Aros Abibi. I recently graduated from Bethesda Chevy Chase High School with my high school diploma, as well as Montgomery College with my associate's degree in cybersecurity and a 3.96 GPA. This fall, I will be going into UMD and I will be completing my bachelor's degree in computer science.
That's awesome. All right, Rose, if you could just talk a little bit about the adjustments that you had to make with transitioning from high school to the early college program, that would be much appreciated.
Of course. For me, there was two big changes that I made. The first is taking on more responsibility for my education. In high school, a lot of the things are presented to you. You have teachers reminding you constantly when homework assignments are due, when projects are due. But once you are at Montgomery College, professors will not be constantly reminding you of these homeworks that are supposed to be turned in. It's going to be the responsibility of the student to look at the syllabus and their homework assignments and contact their professors if they need a lot of help or if they just want tutoring sessions. Also, office hours are a must. I stress that a lot. Office hours will be super helpful, whether it's in the beginning of the semester or towards midterms or finals. They are a go-to for any help that students need. And then the second adjustment that I made is more studying. In high school, I would spend 2 to 3 hours a night studying and completing homework for 7 classes. And that's all 7 classes in 2 to 3 hours. But in the early college program, like Ms. Brin said, for 1 credit hour, you should be spending roughly 2 to 3 hours outside of class studying. So I would spend maybe 6 to 7 hours per night studying for my 5 classes. And so what this is all for studying and completing homework. However, this number will definitely increase as you go into midterms and finals. And it's important that during that time, you reach out to professors for any questions that you have. You use embedded coaching and tutoring services that are in Germantown or whatever campus you are at.
Thank you. So in comparing your courses at MCPS and your courses at MC, what is your perception of the courses, and can you talk about the rapport that you develop with your professors?
Yeah, so like any college level class, the classes that I had in the early college program were much more challenging than my high school. However, they are 100% doable, no matter what. There are professors that at every step, there are tutoring services at every step, there are your coordinators at every step, you have your peers and the cohort. They're always there, and every class has a syllabus that creates a beautifully laid out roadmap that students can follow. It specifies like the expectations, the attendance, the grades, and following that roadmap will allow you to have a much better experience than you would without a syllabus. And so having students follow that specific syllabus will allow them to have a significantly better experience in the class than if they were to just look at it the first day and throw it away the next. Also, my professors were really great in all the classes I had. They were all very open and inviting, and they understood that we were still high school students, so they were able to communicate with us well, and they took the steps that was needed to engage us into the college level classes. And because their environment was so open and inviting, students weren't scared to ask questions or take initiative or just push themselves and challenge themselves in different classes that they had.
Great, thank you. We've talked a great deal about the additional academic supports for early college students. Can you talk about the ones that you utilized?
Of course. So I utilize the Writing Reading Language Center, which is also known as the WRL Center. And so I use that for revision feedback on my English essays, but they also offer help for every step of the way, whether that's starting the essay or just finalizing your essay. And I've used them for several steps within that process. I've also used that center to go over my college essays. So this past spring, I went to their online sessions a lot to get help with my scholarship applications, any like the personal essays in the college application process. And they did an absolutely fantastic job of pointing out opportunities for improvement within my essays, as well as refining points in my essays. Another great center is the Maple Center, which is the Math, Accounting, Physics, Engineering Learning Center. And so I use that for my Math 117 class, which is also an element of statistics. And so there I just went to get clarifications on different subjects and work through difficult questions. And I also was able to find my professor there who had office hours in that Maple Center.
Thank you. Also, could you discuss a little bit about your involvement in campus life? Any clubs or any extracurricular activities that were offered to you?
Of course. So as early college students have the option of participating in all of Montgomery College's extracurricular activities. And one that I enjoyed doing was the chess club, which was actually run by another fellow early college student in the computer science major. And so there we would play chess with other college students and we would learn the game of chess as well as just taking the time to get to know each other. Outside of that, I partook in like different activities and events that happened on campus. There was one where they brought in puppies and all that. So it was fun going with my cohort, which was cybersecurity, and there was also the computer science cohort. So we made friends with them and we would always hang out together with the different events at Montgomery College.
If you could discuss your relationships and friendships that you formed with other early college students a little bit more in depth, that'd be much appreciated.
Yeah, so I really like this program because it gave you a strong set of people that you can always be around. And with this cohort, because we went through the same classes and the same hardships, it really bonded us more together well. And no one was ever feeling left behind because we made it our responsibility to always support each other and have each other to rely on, because we started, my cohort personally was 11, so we never wanted to see anyone go or else the class was just going to get smaller and smaller. So we were always holding on to each other and making sure that no one was being left behind. And so we had a lot of late night study sessions. We had a lot of going into the library in the study rooms and having someone go up to the board and like explain questions that were difficult, and people would take notes. We also made friends with the computer science cohort, which was on the same campus as us. And so with them, we were able to exchange information and study together regarding English essays, as well as just become friends and take that outside. And now in going into UMD, I'm seeing a lot of friends from this cohort as well as the computer science cohort. So I look forward to spending the next 2.5 years with them as well.
Great. I also want to add that Rose, during her time as a cybersecurity student, took additional courses, additional math courses, to ensure that she had the courses necessary to apply for the computer science degree at University of Maryland, College Park. And that was probably one of the things that led to her actually getting into that program. Rose, at this time, is there anything else that you'd like to add and share with our new parents?
Yeah, I really want to say that the early college program was a big life changer for me. Not only did it give me the opportunity to get an associate's degree, which I can now use to get a job if I want, as well as give me opportunities to have better access to internships where they're looking for students with degrees. I just also want to say that the early college program will really help students push themselves and challenge themselves. And I know your students can do it with the support of the parents. So I hope everyone has a good experience in the program, and thank you.
Thank you so much. Amy, you're on mute.
Right, see? So Rose, thank you very much. I just want to repeat This program has been recorded, so we may have answered your questions. If you missed the first part of the presentation, we'll post the PowerPoint presentation. If you have any questions, I posted on the chat, you can email them to earlycollege@montgomerycollege.edu. Again, it's all together, no spaces, earlycollege@montgomerycollege.edu, and we will respond to your questions. Dr.
Amy,
Floyd has posted the link to the parent guide. And now I'll let my boss talk.
hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Elena Sines. I am the Associate Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs at Montgomery College. And I know that you're probably sitting there wide-eyed with all of the information that has just been thrown at you. So take a moment, don't get scared, take a moment, take a deep breath, go back and review the video. Know that your coordinators are here for you. It is the very existence of their job is to support you through this process. So please use them as often as you need to. I also really want to just congratulate you all. This is the strongest class that we've had for the early college program. You are about to embark on an amazing journey that is going to really change your perspective and is really going to give you a solid foundation for any academic endeavors that you're going to have in the future. Trust me. You're also very lucky that Montgomery County Public Schools is going to pay for these 2 years of your 4-year college degree, plus books. Think about that. Think about what kind of scholarship that is. I just really want to congratulate you. I also really want to congratulate Dr. Rye, because several years ago, Dr. Rye came up with this idea of doing this early college program. And at the time, Dr. Floyd and I presented him with a proposal that meant that early college would be in one room at one building at one campus. And he said, no, we need to give more students opportunities, not just a select few. And so he created this program that you now see before you that you are about to take advantage of. So we went from 40 students to over 500 students now taking advantage of this. So congratulations, Dr. Rye, and congratulations to all the new early college students. Welcome. We can't wait to see you.
Thank you, Dr. Sines. And with that, we will say thank you and good evening.